Hi students, now in this video lecture we will go through the third application of electrolysis, which is electrometallurgy. Right? Metallurgy is you would be introduced to metallurgy in the next chapter. Metallurgy is extraction of metals, right? When metals, say iron, zinc, is extracted from their source, the source would be a mineral, or what we call it ore in metallurgy terms, right? You will learn this in next chapter. So extracting metals from their ores using electricity is electrometallurgy, right? So let's see what kind of metals, what type of metals use electrolysis, right, for their extraction, right? So let's see, this is the electrochemical series. This is electrochemical series, and we know that certain reactive metals like potassium, sodium, magnesium, calcium, right, these reactive metals are found in their combined state most of the times, right? And these reactive metals are extracted, right, from their oxides, right, using oxides or halides like chlorides, bromides, iodides, using electrolysis. Why do we use electrolysis? Why can't we, if it's an oxide, say if it's, now we have electrometallurgy. Electrometallurgy is extraction of metals, using electrolysis, right? This is electrometallurgy. So metals which are reactive metals like potassium, sodium, calcium, aluminium, magnesium are extracted using this electrometallurgy, right? Why? Because their oxides are highly stable, right? We would be doing electrometallurgy of aluminium, right, in detail. So electrometallurgy of aluminium we do in which we do electrolysis of alumina. Alumina is aluminium oxide, like this, aluminium oxide. Now this oxide is highly stable. Why? Because aluminium has very high affinity for oxygen. Aluminium has very high affinity for oxygen, due to which this compound is, aluminium oxide is highly stable, right? And since this is highly stable oxide, you cannot go ahead and reduce this using hydrogen or carbon monoxide, because we know that this is an oxide, so oxides can be reduced using carbon monoxide or hydrogen, right, which can remove oxygen from metal. But since this is a very stable oxide, because aluminium has very high affinity for oxygen, so common reducing agents like carbon monoxide, hydrogen would not be able to free oxygen from these oxides. So we employ the process of electrolysis to remove oxygen, right, and to free up aluminium from this oxide, right? These are highly stable due to high affinity for oxygen, right? So normal reducing agents cannot reduce these oxides to metals, right? So we use electrolysis, right? Electrolysis to obtain metals from their oxides, right? So this is the main reason why we need electrolysis for such oxides, because these compounds, these oxides of active metals are oxides of active metals or halides of active metals are highly stable compounds, right? And since they are very stable, so we cannot go ahead and reduce these with common reducing agents, right? We cannot employ common methods to free metals from their compounds. So we employ the process of electricity to reduce these metals, right, or to free up these metals from their compounds, right? So let's see, like potassium chloride, we have sodium chloride, potassium bromide, right? These are and lead bromide. These are some reactive metals, right, which we extract using electrolysis, right? For example, sodium chloride. We know sodium is a highly reactive metal, so we extract sodium chloride from its chloride, right, which is again very stable compound and cannot be reduced using normal reducing agents, right? So what we do is we do electrolysis of molten sodium chloride, right? So when you do electrolysis of molten sodium chloride, this sodium chloride will dissociate into sodium plus chlorine, right? So at cathode, metal ion will move, right, will gain an electron, undergo reduction and form sodium metal. Similarly, at anode, chlorine will go, right, chloride will lose an electron to form chlorine gas. Similarly, two chlorine atoms react to form chlorine gas, right? And similarly, if we take example of potassium bromide is also electrolyzed in fused state, in molten state. We get potassium ion plus bromide ions, right? So potassium ion will gain electrons at cathode, undergo reduction, and it will form potassium, right? And at anode, bromide will lose an electron, undergo oxidation to form bromine atom. Two bromine atom will combine to give you bromine gas, right? So here we are getting bromine, here we are getting chlorine at anode. So in all these cases, anode should be made of an inert material like graphite or carbon, right? So anode, like we have done in case of lead bromide, when we did electrolysis of lead bromide in detail, we have seen that anode was made up of an inactive metal like graphite, carbon, and should not be made up of active metal like silver, right, or some other metal. Why? Because these gases, bromine or chlorine, may go ahead and react with an anode, right, and the product of electrolysis would be different. We won't get chlorine or bromine, because this is the product of electrolysis, and this product of electrolysis may go ahead and react with anode, right? So that we can get the product of electrolysis, right, and product of electrolysis should not react with anode. So we generally take anode of inactive material in these cases, right? Anode should be of inactive material like graphite, so that product of electrolysis may not react with anode, right? So that's why we don't take active anode or active electrode, we always take inactive electrode, which is graphite. This is important, right? And one more thing, when we do electrolysis of these active metals like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, we will always do it in molten state. Electrolysis of these active metal chlorides is done in fused state or in molten state, because if you take aqueous solution, If you take water solution of these, then there is a possibility that at anode, right, I'm sorry, at cathode, instead of this product metal, right, instead of metal you will get hydrogen. Why? Because we know that we are talking of these metals: potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, right? We will always electrolyze. If we want to obtain these metals from their compounds, those compounds like chlorides or oxides is always in molten state when we do electrolysis of these compounds like aluminium oxide, sodium chloride, potassium bromide, or lead bromide. All these are in molten state during electrolysis. We will never take water solution or aqueous solution of these salts of these compounds, active metals, right? Why? Because these metals will enter into solution as metal ions, right? And we know that when two metal ions, because in solution we will have these metal ions and the hydrogen ions as well, and we know that the one which is below in electrochemical series will preferentially discharge when both will migrate to cathode. So instead of this metal we will get hydrogen at cathode, right? So that is why active metal chlorides or oxides are always electrolyzed in their fused state and never electrolyzed in aqueous solution, right? So I'll just mention that over here. Chlorides and oxides, right, halides and oxides of active metals are always electrolyzed in fused state, fused or molten state we call it as, molten state, and never in aqueous solution or aqueous state, because in aqueous state we will get hydrogen gas at cathode instead of metal, because hydrogen is below in electrochemical series, right? Hydrogen is below in electrochemical series, so hydrogen will preferentially discharge, that is react at cathode, undergo reduction and will form hydrogen gas. You will not obtain metal in these cases, right? So let's take an example. Like we have potassium bromide. If we take, suppose we take solution of potassium bromide, instead of like here we did molten electrolysis of molten potassium bromide, suppose we have taken solution of it, right? So in solution we also have hydrogen ions plus hydroxyl ions. So when electric current is passed, potassium and hydrogen both will migrate to cathode, right? And which of these will preferentially discharge or preferentially or selectively react at cathode? We will see electrochemical series. Hydrogen is below potassium, so hydrogen will undergo reduction and will form hydrogen gas. But we are doing electrolysis to obtain potassium, so we will not, potassium ion will not react, so we will not get potassium. What we will get is hydrogen gas, because hydrogen ion will preferentially discharge at cathode forming hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas is obtained, potassium metal is not obtained. So we never take aqueous solution of these compounds, we will always take these compounds in fused state, right? So this is, I hope all this is clear. Right. Just remember that extraction of metals using electrolysis and reactive metals like sodium, potassium, these are extracted using electrometallurgy, and since these halides or oxides are highly stable, right, we cannot, remember this, we cannot use normal reducing agents, so we employ electricity to reduce these metal oxides, right, because these metal oxides have very high affinity for oxygen, right? So we electrolyze to obtain metals from their oxides, and we never take water solution of these active metal halides. Why? Because in that case, instead of metal, we will get hydrogen in at cathode, because discharge potential of hydrogen is lower, is more, sorry, discharge potential of hydrogen is more compared to the metal, because hydrogen is below in electrochemical series. Since hydrogen is below in electrochemical series, so hydrogen will preferentially discharge at cathode, right? So I hope all this is clear to you. Thanks.